Hi, this is Lance. Today we're going to look at these. These are cases that are specifically designed to work with the Apple keyboard with your iPad. One of my sort of ongoing issues with using the iPad and the Apple keyboard is the simple fact that I'm clumsy and I keep dropping my keyboard. So I went out looking for, specifically a few years ago, these types of cases. And I found that there are actually quite a number of them. These are two of my favorite ones. This one is the Enzo aramid fiber case. So the thing that makes these different is obviously they work with the Apple keyboard, but they are thin enough and they have the cutaway at the bottom here so that the Apple keyboard can still close, because with any sort of extra weight on the bottom, the Apple keyboard won't close properly. So this one is obviously a standard aramid fiber look about it, which is actually a nightmare to keep clean or fingerprint free. It's just the way it is with that material, I'm afraid. But they all have these little pins that go from the inside to the outside. And they also have the magnets so that your iPad can stick to the keyboard like it would normally do on its own. So with your iPad and your keyboard, normally it would just magnetically attach and away you go. But then if you drop it, the magnets aren't going to keep it on there entirely, and you stand a good chance of your iPad falling off and actually getting damaged, which is never a good thing when these things cost so much. So once you put these on, you now have at least a little bit of protection around the tops, the corners, and not so much the bottom, but as I said, you have to have that open so that the Apple keyboard can actually close properly. This particular one is quite nice because it's got this extra little piece at the top here, which, as you can see over there, it fits your Apple Pencil perfectly and it can still charge. The second one, which is Pitaka, which is basically, I use them for my phone cases and that as well, because they make some pretty good cases and they're normally very thin, as they do a lot of this aramid fiber type thing. Will you get out? Thank you. As they do a lot of this aramid fiber material. So this one is by Pitaka. It also obviously has the pins over there going all the way through so that it can be used with a keyboard. But the difference with this thing is obviously it doesn't have the protection for the pencil at the top. It does have a place that it can sit and actually charge. However, apart from the fact that I actually do quite like the colors, you see it's this sort of frosted plastic, but the back there is actually got quite a nice pattern on it, sort of a beige and orangey crisscross. I don't know what you would actually call that. But it also works, obviously, perfectly with the Apple keyboard. Again, the problem with this one is that obviously the protection for the Apple Pencil is not as great, but it does still sit there and it does charge fine. Nothing wrong there. The nice thing about this case, however, apart from obviously giving you a bit of protection when it's like the other one, when it's not on the keyboard, but they do a range of magnetic cases. Just standard cases. So when you're not necessarily using your keyboard and you just want to laze around, but you also want something that can give it a bit of a stand, they do cases for that. And they magnetically attach with the same case, so that it's very quickly to interchange them between the keyboard and a case, depending on what you're doing. This particular one has this very origami style stand that you can place it in various angles and it'll support them for drawing or whatever the case is, which I quite like, so that if I'm using my case and I just want to prop it up on something and maybe do some media consumption or play a game or something like that, then I can. It also gives you a little bit more protection for your pencil, because it has this flap that comes over the top here and nicely closes over your pencil. So it'll hold it in place a little bit while it's charging and give it a little bit more protection than it would normally have just sitting on top of your iPad. Now, as with anything that's really nice that you enjoy and is extra thin and still has a bit of protection in that, these are not cheap. As of the time of recording this particular case, the Pitaka one, was 70 euros. The additional white origami style case that magnetically attaches to that was another 60 euros. So you're looking at a good 130 euros just for the combination of those two. This particular one, because it doesn't have a, well, let's say not a very well-known name, it costs a little bit less. So this one was 40, call it 50 euros. So it's 20 euros cheaper than the Pitaka variant of this type of case. If I could get this in a white, I'd probably get one of these and use that more than I do the other one. The only bonus with this is obviously having the addition that you can quickly swap it out to a different case that will give you a whole different experience with your iPad. If I wasn't doing a little bit of research and wanted to get at least a couple so that I could test them, then I would probably just go straight for the Pitaka variant. Although it is slightly more expensive, it does have accessories and they do have a pretty good name as far as cases go and that type of thing. So I would probably just go straight for that and give this one a skip. I'm not saying this one is bad. If I was a little bit more budget conscious, I would definitely go for this variant instead. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this quick video on the Pitaka case and the Enzo Aramid case. They are quite an interesting sort of sector that I've been having a look at, and I hope you also find that interesting. If you do, please like, subscribe, all those lovely YouTuber things. I will have links, affiliate links down below, which do support the channel if you use them. Thank you very much. And I will catch you on the next one. Bye-bye. If you're a little bit more budget conscious, conscious,